Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we'll do the March 2023 regulatory update. This video of the regulatory update is provided by our sponsor, which is MedBoard. So who is MedBoard?
MedBoard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, EU MDR transition period. So, in February 2023, the EU Commission has voted the extension of the EU MDR 2017-745. So, mainly, what does it mean? It means that the end date of the transition period is not anymore by the 26th of May 2024, which is next year, but depends now on some small criteria. One of the first criteria is mainly that every companies have to have an agreement with a notified body before the 26th of May 2024. It means that you need to have a contract with a notified body so that you can get an advantage of this extension period. If you don't have any contract with or an agreement with a notified body, then you will not be able to extend your current certificate. So the other thing is mainly that it depends on your classification. I mean, there are other elements, and we talked about that last time. So I just want to take only the major information. So the extension depends also on your classification. So if you are class 3 or class 2B non-well-established technologies devices, then you can extend your certificate until the 31st of December 2027. And if you are class 2B well-established technologies like dental braces, like screws, plates, etc., then and also class 2A and class 1 with measuring function or sterile, etc., with a certificate, you can then continue to, you can extend your certificate until the 31st of December 2028 this time. And the last category that was also mentioned is about custom-made devices. If you are a custom-made device, you can benefit of your transition period before to follow the EU MDR until the 26th of May 2026 this time. So you see that there are a lot of changes. Actually, it was voted. There is still the publication on the official journal. I just placed on the show notes the link of an article that is available for you. So mainly this is the things that are actually happening. One thing that is also important, if you have already your certificate that expired, if you are still following the EU MDD, if there is no significant change of your products, maybe you can also benefit of an extension or support from the competent authority by following Article 97 of the EU MDR, which is an article showing that it's a competent authority that will take you under their wings instead of a notified body. So check all those options and we can look at that. One thing that is mainly happening also is the fact that this extension can also impact other regions of the world, because other regions of the world also have taken into account this extension. I mean, should take account this extension, because the CE certificate depends also for other regulation. There you need also a CE certificate for registration. So what is impacting EU can also impact other regions. And for that we have also the second case, which is the UK. So UK is also talking about this extension and what is really the impact, and we'll look at that. One of the things that they are mentioning is mainly that the UK, you know that normally the UK is continuing to accept CE certificates for the registration of medical devices in UK until normally the 30th of June 2023, but they have extended this date. We are still waiting for the official publication of the law for the extension. So for the moment, it is still 30th of June 2023, but be reassured, normally they will extend that. So it means also that normally on this new law, they will accept the certificate that were extended due to this vote of the EU Commission, because if your certificate is mentioning the date of a certain expiration date, it means that normally it's not valid anymore. So then what does it mean for the other countries that are saying, oh, but your certificate is expired? Then they will take that into consideration also. So they are really listening to what's happening to the European Union to take that into account for their region. So normally this should not be really an impact for the UK in terms of the registration of your device. But remember that the UK is accepting CE marking until, as I've said, the 30th of June 2023. That normally should be extended of 1 year to the 30th of June 2024. We are still waiting for the vote. But after this date, they will not accept CE marking anymore. It means that you will have to be UKCA marked. So this is a lot of things. So don't hesitate also to ask your question at to our website, to our email. So info@easymedicaldevice.com if there is still some elements that are not really clear here. Ireland is also talking a bit about this by providing the form or the registration form for following the Article 97. As I've told you, the Article 97 is mainly that you are requesting a competent authority to be your notified body because you have no more notified body for your products and because your certificate expired. So mainly this is the idea here. So the Irish government has provided this form that you have to fill and to register, etc., to then make this demand. This form is also available to many other regions, so don't hesitate to go to each website of any of the competent authority for your product. If you are located outside of Europe, you have to take the competent authority of your authorized representative, and then normally your authorized representative can also take care of that. I mean, us, Easy Medical Device, as authorized representative, we are also taking care of this kind of demand, but as we are located in Belgium, so we are taking care of that with the Belgium authorities for this kind of demand. So if you are looking for an authorized representative, so you can also use Easy Medical Device, and then we can also take care of this kind of demand if you are under our wings, if I can say. Okay, EU Team NB. So Team NB, Team Notified Body, the Association for Notified Bodies, has issued a guidance on the submission of technical file for IVDR. They had already done that before for MDR, where there was really a great guidance for technical documentation on MDR. Now they are doing exactly the same, which is a guidance that is showing to you how you should fill a technical file for IVDR. So mainly each chapter, what is inside each chapter, what should contain each chapter. So this is really a great document that you can use to guide you on how to fill your technical file. And additionally to that, I haven't seen that for the MDR, but I'm seeing that now for IVDR. They are creating a training on Wednesday, June 14th, 2023, where they will make a training for manufacturers on how to fill a technical file for IVDR. So it will be done remotely, the language will be in English, and they are limiting that to around 40 organizations. So go to the show notes if you are really interested by that, so that you can register and then get this training from the Team NB organization for technical documentation on IVDR. So yeah, so these are really great documents if you are in the IVDR business and you are not knowing exactly how to create a technical file. You have this guidance first that is explaining that to you, and second, you have this training provided by the Team NB in IVDR. Okay, the EMA is issuing a pilot for scientific advices. So what does it mean? It means that mainly you remember that for EU MDR you have, for some high-risk products, to go through an expert panel, and we talked about that a few months before, that now the expert panel for medical devices is under the administration of the EMA, European Medicine Agency. So the EMA now issues a pilot on scientific advice for certain high-risk devices. So this is mainly for Class 3 and Class 2B active devices intended to administer and or remove medicinal products. So what does it mean? It means that mainly they will provide to these organizations that are applying, that are sending a letter of interest, a free advice on their clinical strategy, clinical development strategy, clinical investigation for their products. So this is a pilot, so they are testing how this is working. They will open that for a certain payment maybe in the future, but for the moment it's a free request. So how many, I can't remember how many, but they mentioned some numbers like 10, maybe 10 companies that they will advise for free, so which is not a lot. So if you are really interested, yeah, go and make your letter of interest, and they will pick one in April and then decide first in April which one will be there. So start, you can do it from now. Everything will be on the show notes, so you can also get the link so that you can find the letter of interest, of interest, letter of interest format, so that you can fill that and then send that to this organization. Notified bodies. So which notified bodies were accredited now? So we have 2 notified bodies, and surprisingly 2 notified bodies for IVDR. The first one is NSAI, which is so the NSAI for the notified body that was already MDR, and now it is also IVDR in Ireland. And we have MDC also, that is also IVDR. So now how many companies or how many notified bodies are IVDR? There are now 10. And how many under IMDR? There are 37. So there is still a growing number of notified bodies in IVDR and MDR, which is great. But yeah, we still need more. So, and I know that more applied also. So we are waiting that now they go through all this process. And to understand the process for selecting and approving, accrediting a notified body is really long. It's a long funnel, if I can say, to do that. Because mainly they have to go through a lot of processes. They have to also get audited and approved, and they also receive some CAPAs. They also have to solve their CAPAs before they can get their accreditation again. So it's why it can take a long time. But yeah, we start to have some big numbers, some 10 notified bodies for IVDR and 37 for MDR. So Switzerland now. So last month we talked about that also. So in Switzerland they are creating some question and answers forms or sheets to just explain how to do some actions for the Swiss market. Last time they talked about general medical devices. They explained how to notify for general medical devices, if you need to notify, etc. Now they are doing exactly the same as last time, but for IVD, in vitro diagnostic products. So they are explaining which product should be notified or not notified, in which case you have to renew your notification or not, etc. So this is really, I think, an interesting document for you to read. If you are an IVD company and you are trying to get to the Swiss market, you will see that mainly there is a lot of moment where you don't need to notify. But if you are coming from outside of the Switzerland, then you have to have an authorized representative in Switzerland, and this authorized representative need to notify that you are mandating this company as your authorized representative. So this is mainly the thing that is happening, but there is no official notification for each product one by one for this case. So please, yeah, go to the show notes and just read this question and answer documents where there is all the information about all the questions that you will maybe ask about in vitro diagnostic for Switzerland. So we got an alert from the Spanish authority, AEMPS, which is sending a notice that is addressed to the notified bodies and to manufacturers of nasal sprays with virucidal and microbiocidal action. Sorry for that. So mainly the problem that the Spanish authority discover is the fact that they find a lot of products that are nasal spray with those actions that claims to be protecting or protecting against COVID. So to avoid some infection about COVID without any clinical data. So this is mainly the problem to say, is this first really a medical device? Because is there any pharmacological, immunological, or metabolic action? Is this really classified correctly? Does the notified body really review that correctly? Do they have really the information? So mainly the idea is to say, first, is it really a medical device? And if it is a medical device, is there any clinical data or claims that are showing that those products are really doing what they are saying they are doing? So yeah, what is important on medical devices is mainly the claims, what you are claiming exactly, and the clinical data that is backing up this claim. So if you don't have that, it can be really a problem. You need to have that for your clinical evaluation also. So yeah, this is mainly something that can be stopping your products or getting some issues on the market if your company is providing some products without any clinical data. Okay, Germany now with companion diagnostics. So if you haven't heard about companion diagnostic, this is an IVD device that is now regulated under the EU IVDR, sorry. So mainly this IVD device is used in combination with the medicinal products. So the objective of this is mainly to select the right patients to receive a certain medicine. So usually it's used for some detection of some cancer, so that they are detecting some kind of markers inside your body that show that this is this type of cancer that you have. So then they are using the right therapy to then try to kill the cancer. So this kind of products is now under IVD. It has also to be used in combination with a certain drug. It cannot be used for monitoring for patients. So monitoring means that verifying that the patient is really reacting correctly to a certain drug or whatever. This is mainly only for selection of patients and then the use of the therapy. So there is a full page of information about companion diagnostic on the BfArM website, so the German authority website, where you can see all the links, all the information, all the things. So if you are in the companion diagnostic business, or if you want to understand more about companion diagnostic, this page is really great so that you have all the information about that. And we'll talk about that just a bit later with the US market. So Italy now. Italy is opening a registry for breast implants. So mainly, this is apparently the first country doing this kind of thing for a registry mandatory for health authorities to report any implantation or removal of breast implants, and also for economic operators. I'm not sure how this is working, we have to look at that, that should transmit the data relating to each single breast implant, breast prosthesis marketed and intended to be marketed in Italy. So this is mainly something that will be mandatory. So if you are in the breast implant business, if you are working or selling in Italy, maybe you will hear about that. You will hear that you have to register each unit of products that are entering the Italian market for that. I'm not sure why specifically Italy is doing that, because mainly the biggest breast implant issue we had before was the PIP scandal, but it was in 2009 or 10, around that. So yeah, 12 years later, or doing again something like that is strange. So, and why only Italy, why not all the other countries? So we'll be really interested to understand more about what is behind that. But mainly, yeah, you have now to register or to inform about any breast implant prosthesis that you are marketing or that you are having to be implanted inside the Italian market. Okay, now MDCG 2023-3, which is the question and answers on vigilance terms and concepts for EU MDR. So this document is really interesting. I mean, the concept or the elements are well known maybe for people that are in the medical device business. So we know about how to perform vigilance reporting, or not, because mainly if your company is doing well and there is no issue with your products, so I suppose you never use your vigilance reporting system. So here it's a great guidance showing to you how this is working. There is also a flow chart explaining all the information that are mentioned there. It's also answering a lot of questions like who is considered as the user of a device, or what is a use error in comparison to abnormal use. So there are a lot of those terms that are also described, or you have really to make some kind of understanding of that, because those terms are really defining on which direction you should go, what exactly you should do, etc. So if you have never performed the vigilance reporting, start by reading that just to have a clear understanding. There is also the mention of the dates. The days means the period when you have to inform the authorities. And we'll talk again about that with the US market. So mainly when you are informed about an issue, you have normally like 10 or 15 days to inform, or 2 days if it's a public threat, to inform the authorities. So mainly these are all the things that are mentioned. We are planning in a few weeks now a podcast episode also talking about vigilance reporting. So this is also something that will remind you what we'll be talking about during that episode. But MDCG 2023-3 is mainly the guide that will explain to you how to understand vigilance reporting, and maybe also how to write your procedure for vigilance reporting, which is also something that is needed for your quality management system. Okay, now the Global Harmonization Working Party has issued a guidance called the categorization of changes to a registered medical device. This is an interesting guidance because when I read it, because I'm trying really to read every document that I'm presenting to you, when I read it, I say, oh, but it looks exactly nearly the same as the MDCG 2020-3, which is the main MDCG for significant changes. So what is considered or not a significant change? So this is mainly a document that is really going in the same direction. There is a flowchart for each of the things. If it's a software, here are the flowchart and telling you this is a significant change or this is not a significant change, etc. But as it's a global harmonization working party who is doing that, which is like maybe the GHTF before, and now it's GHWP or IMDRF. I mean, I'm also a bit lost with all those acronyms because at the end say it looks the same, but they have a different name. So mainly this is the thing that you may use to create also your procedure on significant changes or changes, just changes, to say at a certain point if the change that you are trying to do, is it significant or not. If it is significant, you have to inform your notified body, you have to inform the authorities. If it is not significant, you have to record that and then justify why it's not significant, etc. So this is also an important document that you have to use to build your quality management system procedures. Okay, there is an event now, which is the IMDRF 2023, the 23rd session that will happen in Brussels in Belgium on the 27th and 28th of March 2023. So mainly in the agenda, there is 2 days in the agenda where they will talk about safety notice and vigilance again, real world evidence, monitoring of safety and performance of software, post-marketing surveillance for artificial intelligence. So there will be a lot of topics that will be discussed, so you can still register. There is the link on the show notes to go and to check that if you are in the area of Belgium. Okay, now USA. So in the US, they are issuing a lot of guidances. Mainly this month or last month, they were talking a lot about X-ray equipment guidances like Assembler's Guide to Diagnostic X-ray Equipments or Performance Standards for Diagnostic Equipment equipment, Medical X-ray Imaging Device Conformance with the IEC standards. And there are a lot of other guidances also, not only on X-ray but others, but you can see that also on the show notes. So if you are on the X-ray equipments, then those guidances will help you to understand how maybe to be compliant to the US market, how to place your device compliantly, and what you need exactly for that. So these are important guidances. But as I say, in the US, to be honest, there are a lot of guidances that are issued. So if you have a certain product, you can search for a guidance for this product and you'll maybe find that. It's not the same as in Europe. Europe, you may have few guidances on few products, but in the US, it's really a lot. So you'll see that. Okay, now the same as we talked before, companion diagnostic. In the US market, they are also registering companion diagnostics. And mainly here they have made a list of all the cleared companion diagnostic for which biomarker, as we talked before, etc. So by looking at this list, it's really interesting because then you understand more about what is the classification of a companion diagnostic. Also, what is the product code of the companion diagnostic, because I checked nearly all of them and the code is always the same, is OWD. So if you search for the product code OWD, you will see about the classification of a companion diagnostic. So it's a class 3. The regulatory pathway is mainly a PMA. pre-market notification, pre-market approval. So here, as I said, you can see also all the companion diagnostics that were already cleared on the US market, which can help you in case you are a company manufacturing companion diagnostic to understand more about how this company were able to register their device in the US. But yeah, you can have those lists in the show notes. Okay, in the US, we have also the Medicine newsletter from February 2023. So it's always standard. They are talking a lot about the issues that are happening and mainly some recalls, some reporting, some things, and you can see if these things can happen also to your products. This month, or in February, what was interesting is the warning letters. There is a section for warning letters. So I really like also to read the warning letters of the company. So I opened this one, and it's mainly for endoscopes companies. I will not mention the names here, but you can find that directly on the link. So we have two companies there. I mean, I find two companies, maybe there are more, but there is two companies that had received some warning letter. The first company received warning letter because they had a lot of issues on the market, complaints received from hospitals or from users on the market. So they have registered those complaints. Those complaints were showing clearly that there is a misuse or malfunction of their device, of their products, but they have done nothing apparently. So mainly after they had received this FDA inspection, the FDA looked at all that and they find that yeah, there was a repeat malfunction of their device and they were not acting, they are doing nothing. So mainly this is why they received the warning letter. For the second company, they had a warning letter mainly because they have not followed at all the design process. They have no procedures for design process related to validation. They have no procedures when there is a verification. When you cannot verify continuously a product, you have to do a validation. They are not doing that at all. They have no procedure also for the maintenance of a DHR. I mean, it's basic for every company, so they don't have that. No procedure for medical device reporting, as we talk about vigilance reporting. So I mean, I don't know how they were able to continue to start to manufacture these products since there's many years without that. But yeah, this is also the issue, is that you have some companies that can start to manufacture their products, can start to sell that, and the FDA is not auditing them from the beginning, but auditing them maybe later, which is not what is happening in Europe. In Europe, you have an audit from the authorities before for your quality management system, and then when you get approved, then you can sell. In the US, apparently there are some misses because mainly here they would not have been able to sell these products without clearing that they have a procedure for this and have a procedure for that. So this is mainly the issue here. But yeah, if you really want to get some feeling of issues that are happening within some companies, warning letters are really a great document because it's showing exactly what are the type of issues that can lead you to a warning letter. And a warning letter is really a big problem for your company, because if you are not able to correct all those issues that are mentioned in the warning letter, they can close your company. So it's mainly that can stop your business completely. So this is really important for you to manage. Okay, now let's go to Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia has always issued some webinars, and there are two webinars that they are issuing this month, which is the first, which is the Saudi DI, like UDI, DI, like it's Saudi DI, good word game if I can say on this, which they will make a webinar happening on the March 20th, 2023. And here on the show notes, you will see the link on the page, and just go at the bottom of the image, and here there is a click here, which is mainly the link for accessing the video. So go there on the 20th of March 2023, 3 p.m. local time, so 3 p.m. in Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what will be the time at your place. And the second webinar will be on March 14th, 2023. And it will be about clinical evaluation, requirements for clinical evaluation report of medical devices. So mainly what you need in your clinical evaluation for registering your products also in Saudi Arabia. It will be again remotely on the 14th of March 2023 at 10 a.m. local time. So also the same, you go at the bottom, you see click here, and you click and you can then access to the webinar. So don't hesitate to go if you are really interested to understand more how to register your devices in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, we have also the need of appointing an authorized representative for your products, and here they are providing a template for agreements between an organization and an authorized representative. There are two templates. There is one for a single legal manufacturer, if you are one company only that is willing to have an agreement with an authorized representative, or if you are a group of companies, like you have a corporate organization with multiple legal manufacturer in maybe with multiple companies, and you want to register within also one authorized representative in the Saudi region. So no need for you to go for each of them register with this company. They can have one organization that is registering with this company. This is mainly, they are providing the templates, so the agreement template. So it's mainly a document that you are just filling your name, etc., and just signing at the bottom, and here the agreement is done. So it's easy. So then and it's compliant because it's mainly the authorities that created that. So then you don't have to think too much about it. But it will be interesting for you to read that first to understand exactly what are also the requirements, the role and responsibility for the authorized representative, and also your role and responsibility, so that you know exactly if you are following the right legislation, and if you are ready really to sell your products in Saudi Arabia. Okay, last country now, we are going to South Africa. We have SAFRA that created a question and answer on licensing of medical devices establishment. So mainly if you are trying to register your company within the South Africa and to also sell your devices, there is some application to do, and here they are giving you some guidance on how to apply, how to register your company in South Africa. So it's a really interesting document because it's question and answer. So there are a lot of questions that are like how to do this, how to do that, etc. etc. So if mainly you have never been with the authority SAFRA, so they are starting now to create more and more documents like that for registration, for understanding how the legislation is working in South Africa, which is really interesting. The second topic for South Africa is also a communication from SAFRA on importing and operating unlicensed dental X-ray equipment. So they have identified from many reporting that some dental offices, dental practices are using some equipment that are unlicensed, which is really illegal. So they are making a communication to explain exactly how normally they have to license this kind of products, how they can import that products, and also avoid some health issue, because the problem is not only the fact that it's unlicensed, it's the fact that it's creating also some issues within the patients, because they are reporting some problems for certain patients. So check also on the show notes, there is a full communication letter that is issued about that. So if you are in South Africa and you are having some dental X-ray equipment, you have to understand that it has to be licensed. If it is not, then you have maybe to talk again to the authorities about that and explain to them the situation for your products. And if you know about this situation, there is also some email or some email, where you can communicate with your authorities and explain to them the situation. Okay, so before to finalize this podcast, just wanted to remind you that Easy Medical Device, we are a consulting firm, and we are trying to help medical device manufacturers all over the world to be compliant to the market. So we are providing services like authorized representative in Europe, UK, and Switzerland. So if you are trying to register your products in all those three regions, so it's great also to have one company that can help you to do all that instead of having three companies. But we are also at the same time a consulting firm, so mainly we are helping companies to create their quality management system, to create their technical documentation, to realize their post-marketing surveillance, post-marketing clinical follow-up, clinical evaluation, or tests also. We are working with laboratories like for biocompatibility tests, for EMC tests, so usability also. So mainly anything that is quality and regulatory affairs that for medical devices, we can help you for that. So don't hesitate to contact us at info@easymedicaldevice.com. easymedicaldevice.com. Okay, now podcasts. So the podcast of the last month was mainly the episode 219. 2000 would be great to write 2000, so 219. So the first one was about biological evaluation, the top big mistakes. So we have made this podcast with Paul Fernandez and Laura Fuzzari, where we talk specifically about the main issue that they have at Group ICAR, because it's a laboratory, when they are receiving some customers that are requesting some biological evaluation. So it's a great episode where you can understand what are the main issues for some manufacturers, and also what the laboratory can do or cannot do for you. So it's mainly how they can help you also. So don't hesitate to look at this episode. Next one is episode 220 with SAMD International Reach. So we talked here with Stéphane Berger from Avicenna about how to register your software as medical device all over the world, how to do that. So mainly with also the difference in regulations, the difference in legislation for a certain country, the request from other countries that are maybe following the European Union, but also following other legislation. So there are all those differences. We talked also about MDSAP, about artificial intelligence. So there are a lot of things that we are talked about within this episode. So if you are in the software as medical device business and you are trying to reach all the other markets, so then listen to this episode where Stéphane Berger is trying to help to provide all the information. Next one is episode 221, where we talked with Todvidas Karitonas from Test Labs about the transition from class 1 to class 1R. I remind you that class 1R is the new classification under IMDR, and it is only and only for reusable surgical instruments. So don't use that for any other thing. So it's reusable surgical instruments. And we talked here about what exactly a notified body or what an authority will look at when we talk about class 1R. So Todvidas is really an expert because they are doing that for a lot of manufacturers. So you will understand exactly what are the different steps to follow, what are exactly the documents you have to provide, what are the proofs, the evidence that notified bodies will look at when they will be auditing your company. And last, we had the LinkedIn Live, so last Friday, and that will be released this week. So it's not released now, but it will be released this week. I mean, when maybe you will see this video, it's already released. Don't hesitate to go on the YouTube channel and to subscribe to the YouTube channel and to click also on the bell there, so that you can see any videos or be notified when any video is released. And here we talk specifically about software as medical device class 1. Mainly we had Stefan and Oliver that helped to make us understand exactly how a software as medical device can still be a class 1 under IMDR because of the definition that is mentioned on the rules for classification, where it makes it really difficult to understand how a medical device can be class 1, but they really made a great explanation. As it was live, there was also a lot of questions from a lot of people, so then it's maybe also interesting for you to hear the answers to those questions, because maybe it's also the same question that you want to ask the audience. And if you have any other question, don't hesitate when the video will be published to submit your question on the comments, and I will try to also answer to that as soon as possible, or I will ask Stefan or Oliver to come and answer to it also. So great. Okay, so it was really a pleasure to provide you this regulatory update. So don't hesitate to go to easymedicaldevice.com to see any new article or any new service that we are providing. And if you have any question, or maybe if you have any topic that you want us to cover within our podcast, don't hesitate to tell that to us at info@easymedicaldevice.com. Or if you need any of our services, don't hesitate also to call us at info, or to send us an email at info@easymedicaldevice.com. Okay, it was really a pleasure for me, and I wish you a nice day.